Hey ladies, this is Mocha Mommy here bringing you another video. And I was really wondering and struggling with what was going to be the first video I was going to put out since being back from vacation. What was going to be the first piece of content that I should create? And so I just really want to shout out and acknowledge Crystal and Karazin of the Pink Pill. I heard a little bit of her live today about Nuance, and I am so grateful that she is taking on this topic. Because I feel that it is something that we, as a collective of Black women, really need to discuss. I didn't hear the whole live, but I am sure that it was a gem, because there were a lot of points that she was making that I really wanted to reiterate and drive home. I am so grateful for all that Crystal and Karazin of the Pink Pill, what she has done for Black women and what she has done for her brand. I've taken some of her teachable courses, and I am so grateful. She definitely has helped me be a better gardener. And one of the things that I'm really grateful for when it came to the Pink Pill courses was what she taught me about wine. I didn't grow up in a family that drank a lot of alcohol, and even though we had I did cotillions and I took etiquette classes, it really never was in my personality, and I knew very little about wine. But if I'm being honest with myself, I probably would not have a lot of currency in that market, that country club, Michelin star rated restaurant type of environment. That would not be where my strength lies. I could probably do a lot better at a microbrewery, or on the Honda deck, or in box seating at Minute Maid Stadium watching the Astros play than I could ever do in a country club setting. Just because of the woman that I am. Now, does that mean that I'm attracting a less quote unquote high value man? No. Some of these $20 a pint microbrew beers, or some of these really nice seating arrangements around the upper deck of some of these baseball stadiums, I could do pretty well there. I could do well, and I probably still would be meeting quote unquote high value men. But it's just I'm playing to where my strengths are. Right? Those would be my strengths. I would play to my strengths. So, and that's what I'm trying to encourage you to do here on the Mocha Mommy channel. Play to your strengths. I'm starting to notice that medical conferences are starting to come back in, right? We're going to be starting to have conferences for those of us in the medical profession. So some of the big conferences that happen at places like Johns Hopkins, Mayo Clinic, the Baylor Hospital System out in Dallas, the UC Hospital System of California, they're going to be starting to do conferences again. Let me tell you something. I bet you that content creator La Tiny Princess could probably knock it out of the park in one of those conferences in a set of scrubs than some of these runway models could in a dress and heels that were worth thousands of dollars. She probably could do better in those environments in her scrubs than some of these Instagram models in their scantily clad outfits, because that's where she has currency. She probably could impress an intensivist, an orthopedic surgeon, if she were single. She probably could circulate in those environments very well and use her beauty and her intelligence, to really gain favor in that marketplace, because she's going to play to her strengths. And, one thing I respect about La Tiny Princess is she was one of the first ones to really come out against these ex-con content creators who said that, quote unquote, high value men only like this or only like that. She was one of the first ones to come out and say, hey, no, that's not necessarily true. There's no absolutes. And she probably would. If she were single and she wanted to really work, she probably could work a conference at Johns Hopkins and walk away with several numbers and several offers, because that's where she has strength. That's her strength, and she's going to play to those strengths. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. Play to your strengths, ladies. Play to your strengths. Because there's really no one right way to do it. And stop thinking that all men think the same, or all white men think the same, or all rich men think the same, or all Asian men think. No. That's not the truth. But the best version of yourself is going to be welcome in any space. I mean, I think about my oldest daughter, okay? It was very funny because she just is coming back from her art intensive, and her boyfriend says, hey, can I pick her up from the airport? And I'm like, no, you're not grown. But we're going to pick her up from the airport, and you can come with us, and we can all go out to dinner. So he's like, he agrees to it. So we all load up, and we go to the airport to go pick up my daughter. And I noticed that her shoes were mismatched. Okay, she has about 10, 12 pairs of Chuck Taylors, the Converse low top canvas sneakers. She has about a dozen pair, right? And when she came back home, I saw that the left shoes were missing from the top rack, and the right shoe was missing from the bottom rack, which meant that the whole time she was at this art intensive, she did not wear a matching pair of shoes the whole time. The whole time. And then we go to pick her up her boyfriend. This dude, I just wonder, like, what this generation of young people have against, like, irons and fabric softener. This dude looked like a whole wrinkled pile of dirty laundry when I picked him up. And it's like, his hair was literally all over his head. Literally all over his head. Like, he had to have done this on purpose. He did this on purpose, child. Like, there was product in it. But one thing I can say is that both of them, they were confident because they knew we were going out. So they, with confidence, walked into that restaurant with their mismatched shoes, they wrinkled clothes, and they crazy hair. And was confident. Confident, child. Confident, y'all. And it just goes to show you, like, that you just really have to be committed to doing you. It can't be about, well, I'm anti-black male or I'm anti-dusty. No, you have to be pro yourself. You have to be pro positive black woman. You have to be pro artist, pro medical professional, pro educated, pro whoever it is you are. You have to be about that. It can't be about what other people are not. And I'm so grateful that the pink pill really touched on these things. You know, there's a lot of, like, beefs going on with YouTube right now, and apparently, you know, I was on a panel on the channel, AMBW channel, and listen, I'm not going to say it was beef or that it was not a positive conversation, because I think it was, but it just kind of brings something to light, you know. So I'll bring a little smoke, I'll bring a little traffic to their channel, okay? Because, I mean, people like drama. So basically, they did not like the fact that I had insinuated that one of the contributors to the channel was I called him pardon my language, I called him a fuckboy, right? He did not appreciate that. And so the content creator, Jamie, wanted to air that out. And he was like, that's not what I am, and that sounds judgmental, and it says more about you than it does about me that you said this. And I'm like, okay, you know. But at the same time, this is what I'm going to say. All right. You're right, you can't judge people. You're right. You cannot judge people. But at the same time, history does repeat itself. History has been known to repeat itself. So if someone has a history that I'm not that crazy about, I probably would have a strong boundary against that person. And that's just my opinion. Okay? So you're right. Sometimes finding love could be like a needle in the haystack, right? Finding a needle in the haystack. And there could be a lot of adventure into finding that needle in that haystack. there could be a lot of adventure to it, you know, but there could also be a lot of frustration. So if I'm looking for needles, instead of going around looking through these haystacks, hoping to find one, I'm just going to go to Joann's Fabric where they sell needles. Like, that's just what I'm going to do. Like, there's just certain parts of the population that I would eliminate. And that's okay. Because you know what that does? That gives you your peace, and then that gives him his time. Because you didn't waste it trying to turn him into something else. You know, I have a friend, Nessa. I told you a little bit about Pick Misha video. Vanessa actually is in a relationship right now. Good for her. But she was saying how she had met a guy, and he picked her up for a date. They had been going out a few times. And again, this conversation too, where he says he's very respectful of your faith and your values. But in the car, he was playing some music in his car. And that wasn't really something that agreed with her spirit. You know, her purity of mind, of body, of spirit is very important to her. And she kind of said something like, you know, I really don't listen to this type of music. Is it okay if we change it? And he's like, no, you really got to give this music a chance. This is something that I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate about these SoundCloud rappers and all this stuff like that. And I'm putting out content myself and on SoundCloud, and this is just such great music, and I really think that you should give it a try, and da-da-da-da-da. And so Vanessa's just kind of like nodding. And she said that after the date, she was insistent on paying, and he was a little offended by that. And then she has not spoken to him since. She had not spoken to him after that. And people were like, girl, you're wrong. You don't ghost anybody. You should talk to him, and you should give him the benefit. I was like, girl, ghost that dude like Casper. Ghost him. Ghost him and don't feel guilty. I've been ghosting dudes since before ghosting was a thing. You know, because 20 years ago, ghosting wasn't a thing. Yes, I did it all the time. That was my MO. I would ghost a dude with the quickness and not feel guilty about it. So I was like, listen, this is what happens. When you find a guy who doesn't have your value system and it becomes clear, don't argue with him. Just don't speak to him ever again. Because what's going to happen is two things are going to happen. You're going to find that he is, one, going to insult your person, talk about how you're judgmental and how you're this. And then two, he's going to insult your God. Well, you know, Christianity is from the white man, or blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's going to be something. He's going to insult you as a woman, and then he's going to insult your God. So just avoid that conversation altogether. So if that music does not agree with your spirit and he's passionate about that music, there's no reason for you guys to ever speak again. Ghost him. And of course, she did not take that advice, called him up, and then talked about the issue. And what did he do? Insulted her person and insulted her God. I could have saved you the trouble. You know, shout out to content creator Call Me Coco, who was talking about how she was kind of going online through dating profiles, and that when she sees like certain keywords like fit, feminine, friendly, or high value, she automatically swipes left. Like, nope. Swipe left, block, delete. Nope. You know, good for her. Good for her. I'm grateful that she does that, because you know what? It saves her time. Think about it. She's an educated Black woman over 30, and people who have that mindset don't think that that's valuable anyway. Might as well just get rid of them, because all they're going to do is devalue you, right? Educated Black woman over 30. Nobody, people in that camp don't want that. So you might as well. There are dozens of women who want that. Dozens. And like these two men I was on the panel with, there are dozens of women who like what it is they're selling. Give it to those dozens of women. And trust me, I'll put my money on the fact that they probably have. I'm just saying. Sorry, not sorry. And I'm saying that for a reason too. Watch the interview, guys. I definitely think it's worth seeing. Shout out to Jamie of #AMBW channel. So anyway, Yeah, nuance. Ladies, there are no absolutes in life. But just because there are no absolutes doesn't mean that you can't have standards, that you can't have goals, and that you can't make adjustments as you go. Okay, so if you find out that something's not working for you, if you go change it up, that's fine too. There's no perfect answer to anything. There's no one right way. There's only your way. And that's being the best version of you and surrounding yourself with people who support that. This is Mocha Mommy, and I'll see you in the next video.